Now, the Labour Party conference in Liverpool is entering its penultimate day, where Sir Keir Starmer is expected to tell his party that he is ready to offer the country a fresh start under his leadership.
Yes, and that fresh start may come sooner than expected because a new YouGov survey puts Labour in front of the Conservatives by a record margin, 17 points in fact. That since Friday's mini-budget, support for the Tories has fallen by 4 points to just 28%, while Labour's has risen to 45%.
It is the biggest Labour lead in a poll since 2001, so that is going to be giving them a lot of confidence. Well, here to explain what all of this means is our political correspondent, Tom Harwood. Thank you for joining us again, Tom. I mean, is this Keir Starmer's strategy essentially wait for the Conservatives to disappoint and then kind of come in, rather than actually creating a vision where there's a genuine alternative?
It's a very quiet strategy from the Labour leader. He has been criticised in previous years for being frankly dull, for being frankly boring, for not being that big, rousing figure that we have seen in various other eras in politics. But to some extent, it's a smart strategy from Sir Keir Starmer. If we look over to what happened in Australia earlier this year, a man by the name of Anthony Albanese became Prime Minister. Leader of the Labour Party in that country had been criticised for being bland, for being boring, for not really having all that much to say, for being, well, in the words of the former Prime Minister Boris Johnson, describing Sir Keir Starmer as a great big plastic bollard. Potentially, that could be a winning strategy if there's seen to be something more chaotic as the other side of the ledger. But that's, to some extent, a gamble, because, yes, we are seeing turmoil at the moment in the markets. The question is, would that last forever, or might it be that there is some short-term pain for potentially long-term gain in the Conservative Party's strategy? That is the big question that Labour strategists will be pondering today. Because, yes, it is true that the Labour Party has a 17-point lead 2 years out from a general election in the latest YouGov poll. But if we cast our minds back to February 1981, Margaret Thatcher was 16 points behind Michael Foot in the polls. That was 2 years out from the 1983 general election, and that was a general election that Margaret Thatcher won by a historic margin. So, just a bit of a health check, a bit of a warning there when it comes to looking at those polls. Things can change, and the Conservative Party is absolutely throwing all of its eggs in the basket of economic growth. If that gamble pays off, Liz Truss could well see her polling position markedly improve. If it doesn't, well, the Conservatives are on course for a heavy, heavy defeat. But, of course, that is 2 years away, we expect, that next general election. Before then, there is a lot of politicking to get done. And you're right, Sir Keir Starmer will be speaking to the Labour Party conference at 2 p.m. this afternoon, laying out his stall and potentially trying to be a little bit more rousing, a little bit more exciting in front of a conference that really does feel, at this stage, like it is preparing for government.